All right, hey guys, what's up? Happy Saturday night. Bull and Orc coming at you with a classic Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. There's definitely a few of these I want to get through, but I picked this one because it's one I happen to own. And I didn't know this, but Orc actually hasn't seen this one, which makes sense because this was never like on TV or anything like some of his other ones, his early 90s one. This is from 91, and this is Double Impact. And here's a pretty cool Blu-ray I own of it. It's from a line called the Rewind Collection by something called MVD. As you can see, the whole thing, like if you look them up, they're all like retro. They're done up to look like the old classic VHS thing. Like here it says like, please be kind, rewind on it, and it's the whole thing. When you turn on the disc, it tries to like boot up like with the blue screen, like it's a VHS. They lean hard into that nostalgia, which is big now. But most of those movies, when I remember looking up the site, most of those movies actually suck. I wouldn't like to most of them, but I do like this one. And this is some good classic Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's rated R. It has some nudity in it and stuff. Not a lot to say, but I will say it's his third, what's the word I'm looking for? Collaboration with Sheldon Lettich. Sheldon Lettich was the one who wrote Bloodsport, and then he was the director of Lionheart. And this one, he wrote and directed it, obviously with Jean-Claude Van Damme in mind. Jean-Claude Van Damme, at this point, it's 91. He'd already done some action movies and finally was gotten some success. And as all action guys who start their careers get that phase, he's like, I want to be like taken more seriously as a real actor. So the whole idea here was to play two different characters and one who's not really, one's supposed to be the tough guy. The other guy's not really supposed to be the tough guy. And apparently he was inspired by the David Cronenberg film. Our friend Jay the Stingray is one of his favorite movies, Dead Ringers, wherein Jeremy Renner plays, not Jeremy Renner, Jesus Christ, sorry, Jeremy Irons, not Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner would have been like really young back then, but Jeremy Irons plays the two characters. Anyway, that inspired Jean-Claude Van Damme. So yeah, this movie's shot in and around LA and also parts of Hong Kong. It's not, I wouldn't call it a Hong Kong film, but it has a little bit of that element to it, including Hong Kong longtime stuntman Bolo Yeung, who of course was the main bad guy in Bloodsport. You might not remember the name, but you remember the guy. He's a very imposing, muscular Chinese dude. So he's in here too. I don't quite remember how the story goes. It's been a while since I watched it. I haven't watched it since I bought this. It was maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, it's Chad and Alex Wagner. Yeah, they were separated from after their parents were murdered. Well, anyway, the whole thing is, it's pretty predictable. One is like part of like the Hong Kong underworld and the other guys had a normal life. But of course they're both, when it comes down to it, good martial artists and fighters and all that shit. So that's really all there is to say about it. I'll say some other stuff as we go forward. But yeah, like I said, I've got this on Blu-ray. Orc is streaming it. It might not be 100% reliable. We'll see how that goes. So the first thing that appears for me is like a new, okay, I got to rescue my cat. Hold on.
All right.
Talk to the people, Orc.
All right, people, what's up? This is going to be a first-time watch for me. Only seen probably 4 or 5 Van Damme flicks, so kind of a Van Damme noob, I guess. Okay. I've actually seen more Seagal than Van Damme, so that's kind of sad, but it is what it is, Gonna watch this bad boy tonight, and yeah, should be good.
She just knocked something over. She's fine. Hopefully she doesn't disrupt this. Okay, so I was gonna say how I've started is like there's like a weird new kind of MGM logo coming up, and it starts with like the lion's eye, is what is the first thing that is on the screen for me. It like zooms out from the eye and then goes into like the proper MGM logo with the lion roaring or whatever. So that's.
What part of that are you at right now?
Basically, the beginning where it's still a close up of the eye. I can move it forward a bit if that's better.
No, you're good.
I'm good? Okay. So what we'll do here is do the usual 3, 2, 1, and after one, not on one, after one. I always have that lethal weapon conversation. On 3? No. After 3. So we'll do 3, 2, 1, and then we'll push play, and we'll go. And hopefully it's not too loud on my end. I did turn subtitles on to help. All right, everybody. Strap yourselves in. 3, 2, 1. Hit play. And it takes one. There it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the fancy MGM that zooms out. Yeah, and it should be the same from this point on. Also, this movie coming out in 1991, like a lot of like action movies and thrillers at the time, it has a really lame kind of like softcore sex scene in it. It's really funny. The girl's hot, and you get to see her tits, which is nice, I suppose. But it's just so like the way they shoot it, like it's hilarious. It's like the camera's spinning around them. It's really bad. It's not the most embarrassing sex scene I've seen in these things. I mean, if you want a really embarrassing one, you can go back all the way to actually kind of even before that. If you watch the I'm losing everybody's name. Chuck Norris did that film, his weirdest, most sort of unique film. Oh, you know, the one where he fights the guy that's basically like Michael Myers. Anyway, that has Silent Rage. Silent Rage's sex scene is ridiculous and hilarious and goes on way too long. Oh my God, don't pull on that cord. She was locked in the room for a while. Now let her out. She's all full of energy. She likes to attack cords. So obviously we're opening here in Hong Kong. 1991. So still under British control, as we see. Oh, okay, because this is the flashback. Okay, so yeah, this is back in the 60s. Okay, this is a flashback. So this is going to show the two brothers as babies. Oh my God, stop. You're going to do this the whole time, aren't you? Their parents must be like diplomats or bigwigs of something. Oh yeah, high rollers, $200 million. What is it? Is like their business partner's going to betray them and kill them? I can't really remember what's going on, but I know, yeah, what happens has to do with their parents getting murdered. Oh my God. Cat. Amy. Oh, the tunnel. Cool. So the tunnel was opened in 1966? Or actually, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't count on this movie for exact historical accuracy. It's probably not its strength. Oh yeah, so Van Damme was a producer on
what's
this.
What's your time right now?
Let's take a look here. I am coming up to 3 minutes 25 seconds.
Okay.
It's just switched to action in the car. They're driving home that night. They've left the tunnel opening, whatever it is. Yeah, his parents are obviously important people. They've got bodyguards, and somebody was talking about a $200 million deal. So. Oh yeah, they're gonna get killed somehow. They don't seem to have the French-sounding accent that Jean-Claude Van Damme has.
Does this have like dubbing?
No, this is shouldn't be dubbed. Not a Hong Kong film, so not dubbed. Everybody's speaking English. Trying to think. There's at least a couple movies in his early career where he was dubbed. Weren't there? I think there was a movie he did right before Kickboxer where he was dubbed. I think, but maybe I'm mixing that up. Let's take a look here at his filmography. Maybe I can find it. Nice little sporty car there. Because anyway, this is part of sort of his best run. Like he kind of became a star in the late '80s and had that into the mid '90s, I guess. Please leave that cord alone. You're gonna pull something down on top of your. Stop. Okay, God, this is. I never thought that I'd have to do this. I got so used to living with Wednesday, a cat that had grown up and matured and knew everything. And I've got all this crazy kitten energy to deal with. No, just stop. Oh, there go the parents. So it looks like they're bodyguard, chauffeur. Not the chauffeur, because he's not trying. Well, anyway, the guy there that's with them, I guess, is going to save the babies. Please calm down. I was out all afternoon. I assume she slept the whole time, so she could have crazy energy now. Yeah, pretty violent. You are next. Oh, there's Bolo Young. Or no, that can't be Bolo Young. Can it? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Is he the main bad guy?
No, he's not the main bad guy. He's like, I think the main bad guy's some white guy. Bolo Young's like his usual thing where he's like, you know, just some really tough henchman type guy. That looked like him with the shotgun, but I guess not. Or maybe he's playing both characters. I don't know. Like, they can't say, like, he looks the exact same 20-some years later, 25 years later. You're babe. I like how she's dressed like Jackie Kennedy. I mean, that definitely is him. I know his face. So I guess they're saying he ages really well over 25 years. I guess that's what they say.
Isn't he like Chinese Hercules? Isn't that his nickname?
Yeah, I think so. Because, yeah, he was like a big buff guy.
Dude, how he looks in Bloodsport, I would die to have that physique, man. Oh, yeah. Man. So sick.
And, like, he's, like, well into his 30s by then. Because, I mean, Bolo Young is also kind of like Jackie Chan. He was in the Hong Kong scene in the 70s. He's in some Bruce Lee movies in smaller roles. Oh, yeah, I was trying to find something before the cat distracted me just about. Oh, just the title of... Oh, No Retreat, No Surrender, that's it. I think he was dubbed in No Retreat, No Surrender, where he's actually the bad guy. Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah, oh, and I get that mixed up too. Bloodsport was a year before Kickboxer. I always think Kickboxer came first, but Bloodsport, then Kickboxer. And I'm not naming every movie in the run, but in '88 you have Bloodsport, then Cyborg, Kickboxer, Lionheart, Death Warrant, Double Impact. His next movie is Universal Soldier, which might surprise some people to know is my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Because you might think, oh, you probably like something that's more like Bloodsport or Kickboxer, something that really leans into the martial arts. But actually, my favorite is the sci-fi action film Universal Soldier. Probably, it's not even because of him. It's because of Dolph Lundgren. That's my favorite Dolph Lundgren. He's so good as the main antagonist in that. I love that. Universal Soldier, of course, got 2 direct made-for-TV sequels that Jean-Claude Van Damme have nothing to do with, that I did see years and years ago. And then in the mid-2000, or then in '99, they did Universal Soldier: The Return, which was the final Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I don't know if it was the final one to be in theaters, but it's the final one I saw in theaters. It was '99, which is just a crime. It's an awful, awful movie. It's not even so bad you can enjoy it. It's just bad. And then in around 2007, they did another one, and it was really different and was full of MMA fighters. And then they did it was that Regeneration, and then they did another one with Scout Atkins. It was weird because in that one it was suddenly they did some really weird things with the plot.
Out of all the shit you're naming, the only one I've seen, and it's not even related, is Soldier with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Soldier with Kurt Russell is the same kind of concept as Universal Soldier.
That makes you feel awesome to be a kid, and then it makes you just feel like when you're older, it just makes you feel shitty.
Okay, so here, one of the brothers is here in LA. Look at all the Rodeo Drive. Wow. But yeah, you need to see Universal Soldier. To me, I think it's his best movie.
Really?
And Dolph Lundgren. Oh man, Dolph Lundgren's amazing in it. Like I said, it's really him that steals the show, Dolph Lundgren.
Have you seen Dark Angel? I think is what it's called.
Yeah, it's also yeah. I think it's a very stupid movie. I mean, that doesn't mean it's bad, but I do think it's an incredibly stupid movie.
Shout out to Rambo Raff.
I know that's like his favorite movie. Dolph Lundgren is the main character in that. And of course, we have to have him doing the split. So this, I can't remember which guy this is, if it's Alex or who, but he's like a personal trainer in Hollywood. And all by now, like shots of his butt have already become like a staple of his movies. So I guess this is the one living the soft civilian life. He's in amazing shape and does karate, but you know he's just hanging out with a rich idiot. I love those. Man, imagine wearing like a mauve karate gi. That's so lame. It's like pastel colors. Let's take karate and make it really wimpy. Yeah, so he got smuggled out. The other one stayed, I guess, in Hong Kong and sort of became a semi-criminal or something. I like how this guy's mocking him for his tight clothes while he's wearing the mauve gi. It's like, oh, you're probably a ballet teacher. You're so lame. You're not tough like me. All early 90s tough guys with our ponytails.
Looks like a mullet.
Yeah. Calm down, Jesus. You're the business store in Hong Kong. I thought he didn't have any connections to Hong Kong at this point. Is that bald guy? I gotta check something. The bald guy playing Uncle Frankie, whatever his name is. I recognize him from something else. That's Jeffrey Lewis. Why do I know Jeffrey Lewis? Obviously, he's in a ton of shit.
I have the chat open. What are you drinking? The Pepsi Marshmallow peat flavor?
Me?
Yeah. Or is
No,
it's
just the normal one. I mean, I like sweet, but that's going too far, man.
Yeah. I miss soda so much. Holy shit.
I feel bad for coming back to it because I've been off it for over 2 years. And I mean, I'm still a lot lighter on it, but I mean, this is my second today, so that's not great. But as you see, I only drink little bottles. Not that it really makes.
You gotta live once in a while, man. You know.
Exactly. So Jeffrey Lewis.
It's a nice
what the fuck do I know? They're Philippines, apparently. He was in the 79 Salem's Lot. So he's in a bunch of stuff in the 80s. He was in Night of the Comet. He was in Fletch Lives as the KKK leader. That's funny. Oh, he's in Tango and Cash. Maybe it's Tango and Cash I recognize him from. His next movie after this was The Lawnmower Man. So, yeah. I guess he's just one of those guys who's been around. He's in a bunch of stuff. He was in Maverick, the Western one with Mel Gibson. You ever see Maverick?
Maverick.
Mel Gibson. It's a Western. It's like Wild West, but it's like he's a gambler.
No, up until
it's based on the old show.
Up until one of my friends forced me to watch the Dollars trilogy, I hate Westerns so much. So
it's not like most Westerns. It's from the 90s. It's not really like a typical Western. It's just set in that time period. It's really not like much like a Western. The whole thing is Mel Gibson's like a gambler guy. It's based on the old show from the 60s. It's not like your typical sort of Western thing. It's not like about outlaws or sheriffs or gunfights in town. It's not like that. It's just set in that era. Anyway, it's kind of a fun movie. Mel Gibson's just this guy who's always trying to scam people and cheat and stuff. So this is still out, right? I think it's still out.
Man, I would love to travel to Asia like this. Go to Macau, go to Hong Kong, go to Japan, go to South Korea. It'd be so much fun.
Me too. It's all on my list.
Dude, Thailand is like booming too. I've watched IRL streamers go there, and there's people have like Benzes and like BMWs and all sorts of nice shit.
Okay, so this is Chad. This is the good twin. This is Chad.
I like that his name is Chad.
Yeah. I'm Chad. What's up? I'm Chad, bro.
Chad.
Hello, Ben. Thanks for joining us.
Ooh, look at those legs.
Okay, so this is the other thing he's going to get to. So this blonde here, she's going to be a main character, and we'll get to see her topless, which is great.
God damn.
So, but she's not really anybody. Like, she doesn't even have a thing. Her name is Alana Shaw, I guess. And the thing is, I have watched the extras on this movie. And one of the people they auditioned for this role was, oh my God, let me think of her name for a second, was Tia Carrere. And they had this whole thought, oh, maybe Tia Carrere could be good, even though, you know, she wasn't a star or anything back then, because she's like part Chinese. She's like, what, like 1/4 Chinese? I don't know. But they're like, maybe we could tie that into the Hong Kong thing. Jean-Claude Van Damme himself like stepped in and was like, no, I want like the classic blonde. And I'm thinking, you've deprived us all of a topless scene with Tia Carrere in 1991. It makes me want to kill myself. Not that she's not hot. She is. I mean, I don't think Tia Carrere's ever done nudity. Has she? Somebody find that out for me now. But yeah. Oh, she's going right for it. Yeah, I can't remember how her character, what she has to do with things. Yeah, so... yeah, the top henchman in this is named Moon. That's Bolo Young, and that was him in the past. So I guess they're saying 25 years later, he's aged really well. So, oh, okay, she's Alex's girlfriend.
She kind of looks like Nicole Kidman, like in Batman Forever.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of the high-class blonde look. Okay, so there it is. So there's Alex, who is a real stereotype. Again, we can't rely too hard on his acting here. So look at him. I got a cigar in my mouth. I'm the tough criminal one. You know? But anyway, that's his, yeah. So that's his girlfriend. Yeah, he punched him out. I don't know why. She came onto him and grabbed his crotch. But, as I was saying to Orc before the show, twins will become kind of a thing in Jean-Claude Van Damme's career for a while. Like, this was a movie where he was inspired to try to show his acting range by playing the twins, and he kind of got some of the inspiration from, as I said, Dead Ringers with Jeremy Irons. But later, in 3 more movies, he would play either more twins or other versions of himself. Because after this, he did Time Cop, which is not twins or anything, but he goes back in time and interacts with his past. I think he interacts, or at least sees his past self. In any case, he plays 2 versions of himself. There's the future Time Cop, and then there's the 90s or whatever, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Then there's another movie where he plays twins, although I don't think they actually... oh, look, a Donald Trump reference. But where they actually play twins, but I don't think they have scenes together, and that is the Ringo Lam film Maximum Risk. In that, I think the twin only appears in flashbacks because I think he's dead when the movie starts, so they don't have any scenes together. And then there's the movie Replicant, where there's at least one clone or something of him, because he's just like, Arnold did it in the 6th day, I have to do clones too. So there's like 4 movies at least where you can see Jean-Claude Van Damme play like either twins or different versions of himself. And this is the one that started it all, which is kind of a big thing. This is 91. That's the same year that Jackie Chan did Twin Dragons, which has a similar plot, where he also plays twins.
I was 3 years old, man.
Yeah, 91. Hell of a year.
91 was T2, right?
Yep. Arguably the greatest action movie of all time. It's kind of the...
I know we're doing this movie, but... That might be. It's so hard to pick just one action movie, but it might be. It keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time.
It's great, but doing his own sort of Terminator type thing is the movie he did after this, Universal Soldier. So we'll definitely have to do that because you need to see Universal Soldier. Like, I don't know.
I'm sure
the sequels are kind of weird and all over the place because so much time has passed. But the original is great, and the main thing is, again, like I said, it's really Dolph Lundgren's performance. Dolph Lundgren is awesome.
Does that have a big boy release? Big boy?
It must.
It's got to be. Here, I'm gonna look. I can't.
I've got like at least a decent Blu-ray of it over there. Like, it's not like a big special edition or anything, but I've got like a normal Blu-ray of it.
Yeah, because I know that one existed.
Yeah. Oh man, the twins don't like each other and get along. Oh look, and the criminal guy thinks the other guy's lame because of his stupid clothes. Oh, such great acting here.
Oh, it's out on 4K. Damn.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a big movie. To me, it's my favorite movie. As I said, it seems kind of weird because you'd think I would want more of like something like a Bloodsport or Kickboxer, but I can't help it. I just really love Universal Soldier, and mostly it's because of Dolph Lundgren. Not that John Claude Van Damme isn't good in it; he's pretty good, but it's really Dolph Lundgren. He's awesome in it. It's amazing. He just steals the show, and of course, they get to have a cool end fight at the end of the movie. So I don't even know what's going on here. I don't know why he's come here. Manager win. Obviously, they're getting embroiled in some sort of criminal thing, trying to find some shit. And so he's out here to sell smuggled stuff. So yeah, I guess Alex is like a smuggler or sells like knockoff stuff. But it's funny because like later he would do the movie Knockoff, where he gets involved in that business in Hong Kong with Rob Schneider for some fucking reason. I saw that in theaters too. That movie's a fucking mess. Not just because of like the usual things, but the way it's shot is bonkers. Like, remember anytime you see a movie and you see something like slow motion, or you see a movie where they did that thing where like it shows like inside the barrel of the gun and then the bullet shoots out, or you see one of those movies where people are running and like everything gets blurred for a second. Like, all of that is in that movie. Like, every weird, stupid camera trick you can think of, all of that is in the movie, including scene transitions where it's just like, here's a little box up in the corner and it comes down. Like, it's just like, they're like, let's just do every single like camera thing there is. And it's so stupid and pointless. It's like, what was with Rob Schneider anyway? He's in 2 Sylvester Stallone movies, and he's in that. It seems like a shame he never got into an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Ben, I don't know if you're still in chat, but good to see you as always, man. I was watching the movie, so I didn't reply in time.
Because, yeah, Rob Schneider's in Judge Dredd and Demolition Man. And then he's like the sidekick in the aforementioned Knockoff. It's like, wow, it's too bad he couldn't have been.
Dude, I love Judge Dredd. Both of them.
Yeah, I love them both for different reasons. I love the original for being so dumb and cheesy, and I like the other one for actually being good and like the comic and having good action. You betrayed the law.
You betrayed the law.
The laws. I said this, I told Jay this, and I said this on our show on Movie Discussion Pocket Convention, but I'll say, so in the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Sylvester Stallone has a small role, and there's this whole thing where, like, I don't know what you remember about Guardians of the Galaxy, but, like, the main character, Quill, he was brought up by, like, weird space pirate guys. It's called, like,
I've never seen it. Aren't there 2 of them or 3 of them?
Yeah, the third is about to come out. Anyway, but in the second one, you get to see some of those other groups, because he was brought up by this mean blue guy named Yondu, who's played by Michael Rooker. But anyway, the point is, they're part of, like, some sort of, like, big group of, like, space pirates, and they've got rules and codes and stuff. And the whole thing is, near the beginning, is Stallone is one of them, and he's yelling at Yondu, telling him that, like, he broke the rules and stuff, and he's talking about the code, and he screams, and at one point, he's just like, hey, I was just trying to, and Stallone goes, you betrayed the code! And all I can think is, there's no fucking way that the director of this movie, oh, you know, what's his name? He's everywhere. He just took over all the DC stuff. It'll come back to me. There's no way he doesn't know Judge Dredd. Like, that's on purpose. And, like, when I saw the movie, I can't tell you how much I just wanted to stand up in the theater and go, you betrayed the law! The Ravagers. Thank you, Ben. Because, yeah, that was definitely on purpose, giving him that line where he goes, you betrayed the code! I was like, that's
The
definitely a
action in
Judge
this movie
Dredd
is
shout-out.
badass, man.
Oh, it's good. It's gonna get
I've
better
seen
too.
I've seen a little bit of Seagal and I've seen a little bit of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I want to watch like all their, well, not all of their, but
Yeah.
most of their stuff.
I mean, I mock some of this like 80s, 90s stuff for cheesiness, and this movie has plenty of it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have solid stuff. I mean, that's why I got it. It has solid action, and more is to come. And Bolo Young is very good, as you might expect. But yeah, this was back, when action movies didn't hold back.
Yo, Ben,
Lots of
watching anything good on Tubi recently?
Yeah, Tubi's pretty good. Oh, now they have to outrun the authorities.
Oh, I never knew that, Ben.
Oh, is he based on one of those characters? Because, yeah, I know there's been actually quite a few incarnations of the Guardians of the Galaxy before you got to the team that they used in the movies. I know that. They've been around a long time. I didn't realize he was actually based on one of those characters, though. But, yeah, if you look up the comics, there's been quite a few different characters that were part of different teams called Guardians of the Galaxy. But, interesting. What's funny about that, too, is that people forget, speaking of, like, action in Hong Kong and all the stuff I've been talking about lately, the beautiful Michelle Yeoh, for instance, is that Michelle Yeoh is also a Ravager in Guardians. She just has a small role, again, but she's like a leader of a crew of Ravagers, which is weird because that makes her the only actor that I'm aware of in the entire MCU that plays two different characters, because she's in the Shang-Chi movie. That's still the MCU. I mean, yeah, she's over in another dimension, and this one's out in space, but it's still the same universe. So that's kind of funny. Like, maybe people just thought they wouldn't notice or it didn't matter. I mean, I don't care that much.
Does this one start in Hong Kong, basically, and then it ends up in L.A.?
I think most of it is in Hong Kong. I don't, because I know there's a thing on a boat and stuff that must be there.
I'm glad this was shot.
For a while, they're out by like an island. I think most of it is in and around Hong Kong.
I'm glad this was shot in 91 because PETA would have a fucking hissy fit. That frog just got mutilated.
Yeah, well.
They'd be like, oh my God.
I guess maybe they could argue, like, that wasn't for the movie. That was just happening anyway, It's not like we made it happen for the movie. I don't know.
Just another day in Hong Kong.
Gee, I wonder if their bald mustache guy here is going to die. Like, it's so obvious he's going to get killed. I like her, like, 80s businesswoman suit kind of thing going on there.
Everything is good on Tubi.
Yeah, I found some good stuff on TV.
I just want to get a Shipwreck Connect. Just watch, like, just only watch shit on Tubi.
I mean, honestly, that's how I found a lot of good action, in particular. Although what's the problem with that is some of the foreign action stuff, like Tubi does not provide subtitles. It's like, Jesus Christ. You can't even have a subtitled version on here?
For movies that aren't even in English?
Yeah. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. Like, there's quite a few, like, Japanese and Chinese movies I put on the list there, and they don't have any subtitles, and there's no option, because that's Tubi for you. But, I mean, I did find a few. Actually, that's how I saw. Luckily, this did have subtitles. It's not much of an action movie. It only has action at the very beginning and the very end. The middle is a bunch of dumb comedy. But I still like the movie. It's called The Inspector Wears Skirts, which is a Hong Kong movie where Cynthia Rothrock is in it at the beginning to fight, and then she disappears. But Sybil who I like so much, is the main character of that. Basically, the Police Academy movies? Take the Police Academy movies and set them in Hong Kong and put the focus on female cadets, and that's The Inspector Wears Skirts. Like, the beginning almost is a cool action scene, but then the rest is like, Sybil you're a badass female cop. Go to the police academy and train the next generation. And it's just a bunch of stupid comedy, most of which doesn't translate. It even has a big musical number at a roller rink. It's pretty hilarious. But I found that on Tubi, so that was great. There's like 4 of those movies, too. I don't know if Sybil who's in all of them, but she's so beautiful. She's in... I'm getting them mixed up now. She's in either the second or... It's like Sybil, Sibelle. That's again an anglicized name.
I
Her last
got
name's
it.
just her last name's just Hu. But she was beautiful. She was one of the ones in the 80s that was all over the place.
She's
Kind
64 now. Fuck.
Yeah, she would have been a contemporary of Michelle Yeoh,
Oh,
but
she's
she
from
could
Taiwan.
fight too.
Taiwan #1.
Yeah, Taiwan born. But she's in either the second or third Lucky Stars movie. That's the first time I saw her. She's a cop, and she has a great fight with that beautiful Japanese bodybuilder woman who actually gets knocked out by Sammo Hung. It's pretty funny. I'll give Sammo Hung credit. He's not afraid to fight women in his movies. And I mean, why not? If they're fighting, they're fighting. Because more so than any other like action star I can think of, Sammo Hung has a lot of fight scenes against women. But their fight scene is he just knocks her out with one punch because she's too busy flexing. She looks amazing too. She's got to be about 60 by now too. But she's a health freak. She was Japan's first female bodybuilding champion. So obviously big into it. I can't think of her name.
Really? The Who chick or someone else?
No. This is a Japanese woman. No, in that's who Sybil Who fights in the second Lucky Stars movie, My Lucky Stars. She's one of the bad guys, and Sybil Who's the good cop. They have a fight scene, and like she's too much for her, but then Sammo Hung knocks her out. But yeah, Sybil Who, I really like her. I mean, I like all those. Yeah, again, you'd have somebody like obviously Michelle Yeoh.
Too. Was that the second one?
It was the first one that I saw, but like I said, there's at least like 4 of them.
Was Sybil Who in the bodybuilder chick? Yeah.
Oh, did the bodybuilder chick show up? No, she's in My Lucky Stars. I don't know if she's in any of the Inspector Wears Skirt. She might, because she's in a bunch of those movies. She's usually a bad guy. She's hot as hell. And much like somebody like Michelle Yeoh, she was not a trained martial artist. She was a bodybuilder, but, she learned martial arts on the fly. Where it's the same thing with Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh didn't even mean to be an actress. Michelle Yeoh was a ballerina. And she moved to England to study there. And then she had a back injury that kind of halted her career. And then when she went home, she was actually born in Singapore. Her mother had entered
Michiko Nishiwaki, Japanese fighter.
Yep. She's in a bunch of those Hong Kong movies. Usually she's a bad guy. She's like the female Bolo Young in a way.
Holy shit, dude. She's jacked.
Yeah.
Hot as fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, she and Sybil Who have a really cool fight scene in My Lucky Stars. And actually, Sybil Who can't beat her. But then Sammo Hung one punches her while she's busy flexing. It's very funny. She lets her guard down to flex. So then she gets punched. But anyway, Michelle Yeoh, like I said, after her dream of being a ballerina stopped, her mother knew that her daughter was beautiful and talented. And without her knowing, she entered her in the Miss Singapore beauty pageant. And she won. And that opened up various opportunities for her. And then sometime in the early 80s, she got to shoot a commercial with Jackie Chan for something. And he was so impressed by her that he gave her a cameo in the third Lucky Stars movie, where she just plays a judo instructor that, again, Sammo Hung throws down. But then after that, she started doing movies and learning martial arts on the fly, which she was really good at because, she was already an athlete and in good shape and really flexible being a ballerina. And then she'd go on from there to be a big action star.
What time are you at right now?
Right, yes. Okay, so they do show he has aged a bit. They do their best. I'm at just a little past 34 minutes, coming up on 34:10. They're having a meeting in this junkyard, and I forgot. So they do show that Bolo Young to show that he's aged a bit. They give him like a weird eye and a big scar on his face. Okay, so they're having some sort of meeting here. I've lost the plot. What's going on here? I know that. I think that's Chad. See, the whole thing here is that they're going to do a mistaken identity thing. They think Chad is Alex, and they obviously had some sort of bad deal or something with him, so they're going to kidnap him. I think. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's Chad, and they think it's Alex. I don't know how they got separated because I was blabbing through that. But it doesn't matter.
The dude from Bloodsport looks badass, man.
Yeah. Oh, he just killed his own guy for failing. You see that a lot in some movies. You failed me for the last time type thing. Yeah, they give him a pretty good scar on the cheek there.
And the contact he has in?
Yeah. As I said, this is 25 years after, and I guess they didn't want to give him aging makeup, so like, we'll just give him a weird eye and a scar on his face, and that'll show that he's older. Oh, nut shot.
Johnny Cage.
I like how he still has the same crazy look on his face as the character he plays in Bloodsport. Like, after he hits somebody, he goes, it's like, I hit you so hard. All right, I'll let him live. Under protest. Let's see here. I started talking after they had to outrun the cops. Okay, so they're not kidnapping him yet. They just beat him up. They're going to leave him, I guess. But that's the main bad guy, the guy with the cane there. He's the big boss of everything. And I think he was maybe responsible for their parents' deaths 25 years ago. I don't know. But we know Bolo Young was the one who actually did it. So we saw that. Okay, yeah, so they left him, so. You know, these guys have him. Who are they? I like this. Oh, there's some white guy in that truck. That's weird.
They're just having lunch.
We'll mind our own business. I could have taken them. No. Clearly not. That ugly motherfucker. Yeah. Frank knows who that is. That's Moon, right? You can tell him it's Moon. No, he doesn't tell him. Now Alex has traded in his leather jacket for the badass black long coat. He only wears badass jackets because he's a criminal. And of course, he's got a cigar. This is what you do when you get like an actor who does not really have experience as an actor. It's just like, just give him a prop. Give him something to chew on. That'll be his character, you know. Okay, you can kind of see the effect there a little bit around. It's not bad, though. It looks pretty good. Show the two Jean-Claude Van Dammes next to each other. Yeah, so she's being, like, watched. Yeah, see that one. She's one of the bad guys' people, too, and she's, like, sort of keeping a watch on her.
Them bangs, though. Damn.
Bangs don't go out of style. Yeah, maybe. Camille is finally tuckered out. That's good.
Give her some catnip.
What's funny is, like, she does react to it, but not. I think maybe when they're young, it doesn't affect them as much or something, because she does react to it, but not the way Wednesday used to. Anyway, I'm not giving her catnip now. I'm glad she's finally calmed down, because yeah, she has these crazy bursts of energy where she just flies around and knocks things over. Said, I know that Wednesday was very like that when she was a kitten too. It was just so long ago, and Wednesday was violent. Wednesday, when we got Wednesday, I was living with my sister, and she used to like chase us around, and she constantly bit us. Like, she didn't bite because she was angry or mean. It was just how she expressed herself. She used to chase my sister to the bathroom every morning, biting her ankles. Like, this one's not like that. She doesn't bite or claw or anything, but she just zips around and she jumps on things and she bites cords and things. I mean, normal stuff. It's just, I gotten so used to living with Wednesday. You know, Wednesday lived to be 16, and for so many years, I was just used to having a cat that just was locked in. She knew my habits. I knew hers. She knew what to do, what not to do, and I didn't have to worry about it. Now I have to kind of train this one. I mean, cats aren't exactly that trainable, but you can train cats to a certain extent. You got a lot to learn, kiddo. All right, so here's the island. They're gonna like hide out on this island. Chad's like, but my fancy clothes. Remember, I'm the fancy boy from LA. I have fancy clothes. I wonder where this was shot. I mean, obviously, around Hong Kong, but I wonder what the actual location is. It's a pretty cool place.
Was shot in North Korea. Spoiler alert.
The Hideout was filmed at Mong Tung Wan at the Lantau Island. That's what. Okay, it's called Lantau Island. I'll have to check that out later. Interesting. So isn't it crazy that you grew up in Hong Kong and I grew up in LA and we both have like strong French sounding accents? It's pretty crazy. I guess it's not that crazy. It's the same thing with Arnold. No matter what role Arnold plays, just like I'm a guy with a strong German, Austrian sounding accent, and that's the way it is. Even when I'm a typical American guy, like in something like I don't know, Jingle All the Way or something. It's like, okay, he's an immigrant. There's no point in pointing it out. He's an American.
Put that soda down now.
Put it down. There'll never be another Arnold.
Cole, what movie are we watching now? I get his workout newsletter every morning in my email. It's fucking hilarious.
It's very inspirational, I hear.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious choice for hotter twin is Alex because he's the bad boy. But I don't know. The whole point of Chad is that he proves he can be tough too. So I'm getting a little confused here because I'm just like, does one of them must die? Because I'm like, who's supposed to be having sex with the blonde? Like, they don't have like they don't tag team her, which would have been awesome, but they don't do that. So one of them must get killed. I'm guessing, if I'm remembering this right, probably Alex gets killed and Chad has to like avenge him. I would assume. And probably then he's like, now I'll take care of your girlfriend. I mean, take care of her?
Hell yeah.
Because I know there's a sex scene. Oh, he imagines it. So the sex scene is a dream. That's even more fucked up. At least that explains why it's so silly. Okay, so there's a part where like Alex like dreams or hallucinates Chad sleeping with his girlfriend, which at least explains why it's super cheesy and stupid, but okay. So the sex scene is a dream sequence. Not that it matters, we still get to see it. But where do you see it? It's even amongst like lame, cheesy sex scenes, it's right up there. It's so dumb. But she's hot, and that helps.
Which twin is hotter, Ben? I don't know. I'd fuck them both. Know what I'm saying?
Quantity. So what are they trying to do here? They're conducting their operations. Okay, so they're attacking some drug operation, I guess, to, I don't know, draw the guy out or something. I guess. Very stealthy. The lighting here is actually really cool. I say it looks pretty good on this Blu-ray. As much as like they do it up to be like, it's like a VHS. Like the picture quality is very good. And this is definitely like a movie I would have rented back at the time, but not when I got around to it.
Yeah, this Amazon rental is looking good.
Oh, well, that's good. I would hope so.
Yep. Better I paid money for this shit.
Damn straight. Don't fuck up. Don't you fuck up. Oh, I got slipped back here. It's funny. I totally forgot that the sex scene actually doesn't happen. It's a dream sequence sex scene. That's so weird. It's like, why can't we just have a scene where they both bang her? Come on. We're sexually liberated. We can show that kind of stuff. Sometimes my subtitles understand that they're speaking Cantonese. Other times my subtitles are like speaking foreign language. Like it's always Cantonese. You're in Hong Kong, it's Cantonese.
After Japan, what is your second favorite Asian country that you would want to visit or live in?
I mean, maybe South Korea. I mean, that's kind of on the nose, I know. South Korea's become such like a cultural powerhouse in the last few years, you know. It's got like the best internet in the world, and everybody thinks Korean culture is the best and follows it. So, you know, Korea's like one of like the #1 countries to live in, right? Like as far as like quality of life goes, right?
They kind of
got great healthcare. They don't have much crime. You know, they've got awesome tech. They're right at the forefront of technology.
They kind of took everything that Japan did awesome in the 90s and 2000s and like ran with it and did it a little bit better. A little, not that Japan is not good, because Japan's awesome, but that's kind of
how
I mean,
I guess that's the obvious answer, I suppose. I mean, I'd like to visit lots of them, but I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to live in a place like Philippines. Like Philippines is not only do they have like earthquakes and various natural disasters all the time, but like I don't think their new president is any better than their last president, who was like a psychopath. And plus, they do have a lot of crime.
It's crazy that like if you have weed, they can just kill you.
Yeah, like that was their war on drugs. And it wasn't even like, let's get the dealers. You were just doing drugs. They just execute you. They're like, there, that fixes the drug problem. No, it doesn't. But I mean, a lot of people were brainwashed by the propaganda to thinking like that was the answer. My Filipina girlfriend, you know, she thought that was okay. She was like, yeah, it's pretty harsh, but you know, you gotta handle these guys. I'm like, what?
For weed, as it's legalized all over Canada. That's funny.
I don't know if we've had the conversation exactly about weed or whatever, but yeah. But I mean, it's a weird. I can understand living in this situation because on the one hand, you do see that like drugs are a problem, and you see that some of these criminals get violent.
I just meant now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Ooh, nice drug lab here. And I mean, of course, I'd like to do, what's it called? I always forget what it's called. The John Woo one. Because on paper, it sounds like it should be my favorite movie of all time, and yet I can't like it very much. And that is
Hard Target.
Hard Target. Like, I want to like Hard Target, and it's not like I hate it or anything. It just, I don't know. I almost feel like most people would like flip out for me saying this, but I think they should do a remake of Hard Target because I think the premise is good, but on paper it sounds amazing to me. It's like Jean-Claude Van Damme, like the height of his career. It's John Woo's like first American movie full of action. Lance Henriksen's the bad guy. Let's go. And yet it just doesn't. I don't know. Like I don't think it's bad. It just. I mean, it's not even in my top 5 of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, and it should be. I like this movie more. And this movie's cheesy as hell. Oh, they got backup from Frank. You know, Frank means business now because he got his hat on backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so probably both twins live, but there's no way Frank lives. There's just no way. I know how these movies go. I've lost track of Chad. Where's Chad? Oh, there's Chad. Oh, I was worried for a moment. This Frank guy is like a one-man army. I love movie henchmen like that. I'll just run right into this kick, face first. No CGI on that explosion. Real deal, baby. Oh, you still can't impress tough Alex. Alex is like, you're a fuck up. You ruined it. Like, come on, they blew up the place. Isn't that the point? I'm telling you, he's honest. Oh, well, if you think he's honest, I'm sure you're right, blonde bimbo. She's wrong. Griffith is crooked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that woman, that henchwoman's going to, like, sexually assault her. That's going to be awesome. I mean, it won't be too graphic, but...
Spoilers.
Sorry, I had to look ahead to see where we were.
Jeez, Cole.
The Climax Club. Spelled with a K for some fucking reason. It's hilarious.
Been hanging around Ed Boon too much.
Come here. Give Billy Young credit. He cleans up well in a badass suit too. To evil, gentlemen. We're all very evil. It's like the McBain movie. The Simpsons. To human misery.
That guy who's talking looks like Quentin Tarantino if he let himself go.
Yeah, it has like that similar kind of wide mouth thing going on.
Scuffed Quentin Tarantino.
She must be some kind of bodybuilder too. Look at her arms. Corinna Everson. Yep. She won Miss Olympia from every year from 84 to 89. So this has Bolo Young and her.
No shit. That's, what is that? 6 years?
Yeah. That's Corinna Everson.
Mrs. Olympia? Holy shit.
Yep, 6 years in a row.
I didn't know this movie would have so many big people in it.
Clearly this bad guy has like a type. He's like, if I'm going to have hench people, they're going to be jacked. Men and women. That's my rule. You got to have guns. It's popped up in a couple other movies, like Natural Born Killers, but it must be a really small role. A couple TV shows too, but I don't know them. He's also written several books about bodybuilding. It's pretty funny. Inside Rival. Doing the James Bond thing here. You gonna play a game of Baccarat?
Never have in my life.
Frank's got the ladies.
And the bomb.
Yeah. He never goes anywhere without a fucking detonator. Well, I bet you she gives strong massages.
Look at those biceps. Ooh.
I don't know if you want a hand job from a girl like that.
I do.
Like,
oh, fuck yeah.
She'll rip it off.
There's not much to rip, you know what I'm saying?
The ultimate in pleasure, but then you lose it. Oh, here we go. She's going to kill somebody now.
Oh, missing
like a little tag team. Okay, look at those legs. Jesus. At least they give her opportunity to flex. Stab. She's looking at the knife like, oh. This is 4 years before. Yeah, this is 4 years before Xenia Onatop, speaking of Bond. You know, the one that crushed the Russian that would crush the guys with her thighs and she would like orgasm.
Was GoldenEye really 95?
Yep.
Damn.
It was the longest gap between Bond movies. But
What was
License to
Tomorrow
Kill
Never
came
Dies?
out
96, 97?
97. Michelle Yeoh again, and I guess that's probably the first time a lot of people over here saw her. It was the first time I saw her, obviously.
Then which one?
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah.
She's the Chinese agent. It's funny. I watched two different they're not director commentaries, but there's a Hong Kong expert guy. His name is Frank Zhang, and I watched him do the commentary on this one and also another one. And both times, in speaking about Michelle Yeoh, he points out she's the only Bond girl not to go to bed with Bond. But I mean, that's not correct. And also, even though there's no scene of them having sex, it's pretty much understood at the end of the movie that they're gonna. So I mean, it's not really like, oh, Michelle Yeoh, like she broke the mold. She doesn't get together with Bond. Like the movie ends with them like making out on a boat. And it's like they're gonna get down. We just didn't get to see it. So he's wrong on those
Fuck
counts.
you.
You think James Bond's not gonna hit that? He's James Bond. It's like you think he's tired just because in that movie he already got to nail the one from the Superman show. Big 90s hottie. Somebody like Jay would know her name right off because he watches TV. Fuck. Anyway, her. Nails her in that movie, then she actually gets killed.
The only Bond I haven't seen is the newest one. What'd you think of it?
It's in line with the other. It's in line with the other ones because I mean the whole point of the Craig era is they're all connected and they all have a story that has a beginning, middle, and end. So everything is connected and it's a definitive ending. Like it's different from all the other Bonds in that way. It starts with the Casino Royale and it ends with No Time to Die. Like that's the end. The next Bond will have to be a reboot and everything, and that's fine because that's how they always sort of did it anyway. But the other ones, there was a loose continuity there. This was a strict continuity. Every movie followed the next one. So, I mean, it's fine. It's just sort of a different approach. It's not really what I like about Bond. I don't really want to see a definitive ending for Bond, just like I'm the same way. I'm a comic book guy, right? I don't want to see a movie where it's just, and that's one of the things I can't really like, even though I really love the Nolan trilogy by Batman. It's the same thing. Like, he's just like, Batman Begins, Batman this, and here's Batman, here's the ending. Like, I don't want that for Batman. I don't want to see an ending where it's like, he's dead or he's retired. That's not how I like my comic book characters. I like to think that they keep going on. That's why the Blade movie, the third Blade movie, as much as it's not that a great of a movie, has like the perfect comic book ending. Because it's just like Blade's life is a war and that war goes on. And that's how it goes for me. It's like, no, he doesn't retire to the suburbs or he doesn't die. Like, no. So that's what they do with No Time to Die. Like, there's a definitive ending there, which is fine. I'm just glad it's finally out of the way and we can finally get a new Bond. Not like I didn't dislike Craig. A lot of people disliked him. I thought he was fun. I thought he was okay. And actually, the first movie, Casino Royale, is one of my favorite Bonds. It'd be top 5 for me. The funny thing about my top 5 is that they're all spread. About what?
The PC ending.
For which one?
No Time to Die. I haven't seen it yet, but I know what happens.
Well, I mean, spoilers, people. It's just like he does die, but it turns out he has a kid or something. I don't know, some bullshit like that. I don't care.
Isn't it like a chick is like the new one or something?
No. There's no new one. He's gone. It's over. Well, they all got out alive. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a new era for Bond. But yeah, if you look at my top 5 favorite Bonds, they all are pretty much different ones. Because my favorite is, I think, GoldenEye. So that's Pierce Brosnan. And then I like From Russia. Then I like From Russia with Love, which is the second Bond movie. So that's my least favorite Bond, but as the character, I mean, fucking Connery. Or no, my top favorite Bond. Sorry, everybody is. I'm the only person in the world. My favorite Bond is The Living Daylights. So that's Timothy Dalton. So it's like Timothy Dalton for one, Pierce Brosnan for GoldenEye, Connery for From Russia with Love, and then I'm not sure what. And maybe after that is Casino Royale. So that's Craig. So that's my top 4 Bonds, and they're all different actors. And then maybe the next one is a Roger Moore because I really do like his first one. What's it called? Live and Let Die. Hi, Jamie. Thank you for joining us, although we're fairly far into this one. Oh, I think we're coming up on the hallucinated sex scene. So we're just a little past the hour mark now.
What up, Jamie?
Nice noodles. I mean, No Time to Die is worth seeing if you watched all the other Craigs. I mean, you might as well see it to finish it off. But I felt like, yeah, I really thought Casino Royale was awesome, and then none of the other movies lived up to it. I've never understood why most people think like Skyfall is this modern masterpiece. I thought Skyfall was fine, but like at the time, people like lost their minds over Skyfall. They thought it was incredible. It was fine. I don't know. Felt a little bloated to me. Seemed too long. I mean, I had really high hopes for the one after that, Spectre, and it was good, but just didn't get. I don't know. But yes, I'm more interested in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, Quantum of Solace and Spectre were just kind of meh.
I really didn't like Quantum of Solace. That's easily my least favorite. I think that's one of the weakest Bonds there is. Everything felt like anti-Bond. It felt like more they were trying to do like a Jason Bourne type movie. I don't know. Yeah, Quantum of Solace is one of my least favorite Bonds, and easily the worst one I saw in theater. I feel bad that I didn't see No Time to Die in theater, because starting with Tomorrow Never Dies in '97, I saw every Bond in theater until Spectre, and then that was my last one. I didn't see No Time to Die in theater, which sucks. It broke my streak. What are we doing here? We're gonna have a training montage or something? Frank's taking them where? Where's Frank taking them? Where are we going, Frank? Okay, so Danielle's already been kidnapped, and Chad has taken off to rescue her, leaving those two behind, which is not very smart. So that's what's going on here. Or she's about to be kidnapped. She's like, I don't like you. I want Alex. So what? Then we're going to like beat him up and steal her? I don't know. The whole thing here is, yeah, that he left them, and they're pissed because they're stuck on the island because he took the boat. So they can't do anything. Just chomp a little more on that cigar, Alex. I'm really starting to understand the depth of your character. You're a pissed off guy with a cigar, and oh, that's it. Her phone is tapped. I know that. Oh, but that's not her phone, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is where he starts to get upset and jealous because he's like, that's my girlfriend, yo. He's really mad. Just the thought of his brother being anywhere near his girlfriend. Ooh, this guy's got like fancy spurs. Oh, that's her. Yeah, okay, so they're gonna kidnap her. They're not gonna kill Chad, but I guess they're gonna incapacitate him. Let's see. Can't have a nice restaurant in Hong Kong without a nice aquarium. Ooh. He punches the walkie-talkie. That's great. Come on, he kicks as good as Alex, right? Huh? I know you like Alex better, but he can kick too. Okay, we get a little chase here. Good, I like chases. Chickens, of course. Oh, no, not the aquarium. I mean, as soon as you saw it, you knew that was going to happen. Okay, that guy just... Okay, yeah, he has the spurs. That's right. I was going to say, how do you do that? That was pretty cool. He tore his throat out with a spinning hook kick from his fancy spurs on his shoes. Crazy white people again. Disturbing our day. They're in no way disturbed by people running around brandishing guns.
Konnichiwa.
Is she wearing a bra? No bra can contain her powerful
titties.
I mean, as far as like movies directed by this guy, I think this might be the best thing he directed. Like, he did Lionheart, and this movie looks so much better than Lionheart, and this is only like a year later. Like, Lionheart's fine, but it's a very kind of cheap, kind of lame-looking movie. Like, I still like it. It has some cool fights in it and stuff, but I don't know if this movie just had like way better production values or they had a bigger budget, but like if you compare the two movies, like this movie looks so much better and more professional. Like Lionheart's fine, but Lionheart's really dark and kind of grainy, and it doesn't really have any sort of complex scenes like this. You know, you got a chase scene and boats and stuff. Lionheart's all very low key. I don't dislike Lionheart, but it's kind of amazing to think this movie came out with the same director only a year later, and it looks so much better. You're gonna inhale that cigar, Alex. Oh. We have a helicopter? That's no fair. Sheldon Littich was the director. Yeah, because he also let's see. So I mean, he mostly did stuff with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Wrote the screenplay for Bloodsport. He also wrote the script for Rambo 3, which he co-wrote with Stallone. He was uncredited as editor on Cyborg, but then he directed and wrote Lionheart. Did the screenplay for Bloodsport before that. He's credited for some reason From Dusk Till Dawn, but it's not really explained what. And then he's got various... unfortunately, he didn't really direct anything good. I don't even know what Perfect Target is. But he did direct The Order, which is goddamn terrible. And then stuff I've never heard of in the 2000s. Not much. So this might be the best thing I'd say this is the best thing he directed. Because it's a lot better than Lionheart. I mean, Bloodsport's maybe the best thing he wrote, but this movie's pretty well directed, pretty competently done. Big improvement. I blipped out.
Oh, I thought you froze. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're back. No, not The Order with Heath Ledger, Jamie. Or maybe it was. No, that can't be right. 2001? No. It's The Order with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh, Heath Ledger. Yeah. Heath Ledger did a movie a couple years after that, yeah. But no, this is The Order, 2001. I had no idea that the Heath Ledger one was 2003. I thought it was later. But, yeah. But no, 2001, The Order. I saw it a million years ago. It's really bad.
Whoa, Cole, you're missing out.
There we go.
Hey-o.
I mean, I'm going to say implants, right? I mean, there's a firmness there that seems unrealistic. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm thinking implants. Because with implants, I mean, it's not the size. I mean, you can do whatever you want with the size with implants. But the tell for the implants is how firm they are, and just how they don't sag in any way. Now, I know there are women with really great bodies and they have that, but I don't know. Again, this is not a well-known. Yeah, see, so he's just hallucinating this. So here we go. I got to give him credit. So maybe they're even making it cheesy on purpose because he keeps getting drunker and drunker. Because look at this. They're like spinning around and there's like cloth. It's pretty fucking funny. He went to save her, you idiot. He's like, oh man, they're having crazy Cinemax sex right now. Like, oh, come on. I know that, Jamie. I have some experience with, I don't have breasts, but I have experience with breasts. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm just thinking, I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're very nice. I mean, I've seen them fake for sure in actually one of the Kickboxer sequels that Jean-Claude Van Damme did maybe in the last while, where he's not the main character, but the guy's training at his place, and the guy has like sex with like this really hot Thai cop, and it's like, I'm sure those are implants, because I mean it's pretty rare for Thais to have breasts that large, and yeah, it's like the only reason to watch it. It's like Kickboxer Vengeance or one of those. It had some like famous MMA fighters, and like, this is still going.
I love this movie. It's great.
There you go. It's pretty funny. But
it's over. Still quick.
Like Cain Velasquez is in it, in just one scene where he's just like beats the snot out of the guy, and then doesn't show up again. There were 2 Kickboxer sequels. I'm not talking about the 90s ones that had the other guy. Those aren't even that bad. You ever see any of the Kickboxer sequels that don't have Jean-Claude Van Damme that the other guy was in? A couple of them aren't too bad.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I've seen only the first Kickboxer, and I've only seen Ip Man too. Yeah.
Because it's funny because both franchises did sort of the same thing. With both Kickboxer and Universal Soldier, the immediate sequels went in different directions and had other actors, and Jean-Claude Van Damme wasn't involved. And then at a much later point in time, Jean-Claude Van Damme came back and did like proper sequels or whatever. He did that for both series. Step by Step? What kind of drugs are you on, Ben? Step by Step, Jesus Christ.
That good Oklahoma shit.
Chill out, pal. No, I hallucinated you guys having awesome softcore movie channel sex, and I'm gonna kill you for it.
Give me all of your Belgian waffles now. Give me them.
The boots and the motorcycle. Oh, look at that. That's a nice angle. All I'm saying is she's very beautiful and stuff, but if stupid Jean-Claude Van Damme didn't want his classic blonde so much, we could have had this with Tia Carrere. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's actual footage on this of Tia Carrere doing scenes, and it just breaks my heart that we didn't get to have a awesome 1991 Tia Carrere topless sex scene. She would have done it. She wasn't any big star in 91. I know what Step by Step is, and I don't remember anything about it except that it had the most sexually active parents ever. Like almost every single episode I remember watching ended with like the parents in bed and getting it on. I was like, wow. I mean, I get it. I'm not. Yes, middle-aged people with kids can have sex. That's fine. But I just mean this show is really pushing it. That's what I remember. Yeah, Sasha Mitchell. Yes, but anyway, yeah, Sasha Mitchell did several Kickboxer sequels in the '90s, and they're not too bad. But what's funny is, you know how like the main villain in the first Kickboxer is that badass guy Kong Po. Like, okay, in the original, he's a pretty bad guy. Like he like cripples that guy, you know, his brother or whatever, and he's just a real jerk. By the time you get to like the third Kickboxer movie, he's like a goddamn supervillain. Like he runs a criminal organization, he kidnaps the guy's girlfriend and rapes her. Like it's crazy how much the stakes escalate in those movies. Okay, well, yeah, of course you have to have the mandatory twin brother fight. It's like, I help. I've got a detonator. Oh wait, that won't help. What can I do here? I'm surprised you're still alive at this point, Frank. I'm sure you're gonna die. See, so that's how he. Yeah, that's perfect. He's like, well, I can't blow them up, but I can shoot my gun. That'll end this conflict. And everything here is made out of bamboo, in case you haven't noticed. You want to smash the whole place apart? The whole roof's going to come down on us. You're drunk. I'm going to take your guns away. Oh, he calls him a faggot. That's some 1991 right there.
Yep.
Like,
I used that word today.
He's like, I hallucinated you having sex with my girlfriend, you faggot. It's like, okay, then. Like, why didn't you call him that at the beginning when he was dressed all, you know, like a personal trainer from LA? But he saves it for here. She couldn't quite do a crying scene, so they just cut. They're like, assume she starts crying. The actress wasn't quite open to it, up to it. We'll do a cut here. This is like the all is lost moment. The team's breaking up. Frank is so frustrated. It's actually Chad who leaves. You're going to blame him for that? He had nothing to do with that. Your parents were murdered and you were split up. It wasn't Chad's idea. He was also an infant. But anyway. I don't have a brother. Ooh. That's, ooh. Well, he was serious when he said he would swim. I thought he was kidding. I also got to give credit to, like, the title Double Impact. It's just, I mean, I know all action movies have to have, like, sort of in-your-face, grabbing you type titles. But Jean-Claude Van Damme might be the best when it comes to it. It's just like, Double Impact, Hard Target, Maximum Risk. Sober up, dumbass.
Bloodsport.
Yes, you're very sweet. You're very sweet. I mean, Bloodsport too, but it's especially those two-word ones where it's like some sort of adjective thing. And again, he wasn't the only one that did that kind of thing. You can find that in other things, and maybe Die Hard's kind of the one that started it all in a way, even though that's not an adjective. That's just, although that's like verb adjective, I guess, instead of the other. Oh, Bolo's on the scene. Oh, he's gonna kill Frank. So I assume they're going to take her and kill Frank. Two throat hits. Okay. No, Frank's still alive.
When's the last time you saw this movie?
Probably about 2 years ago when I bought it. So I guess I forgot a lot of the plot details. I mean, I know how it's going to end. Like, I'm not getting. I mean, it's all going to take place on a big container ship or something. I assume they go to rescue the girl. Frank may or may not live that far. I don't know. But I thought he died earlier, but obviously not. Yeah, good girl. You're such a chirper. You make good chirping sounds. She doesn't meow at all. Wednesday would say meow. You don't say meow. Luckily, that guy can't hit the broadside of a barn. This is becoming very John Woo. I mean, how many bullets are on that handgun? I mean, I know they still have to go to the boat for the end, so they must only just kill a few of the hench guys, and they must still take the girl away. You have a gun. What is the point of distracting him? Well, I guess he's just trying to do it quietly. Yes, you have a very rough tongue. She licks my fingers a lot. My fingers salty? My cat, for those coming in late. I'm talking about the cat licking my fingers, okay? Coming up to the final act. I was wondering, we're at about 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 30 seconds. We're coming up to the climax, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
So what, they just left guys behind to, I don't know. Griffith? Is his name Griffith? Getting everything messed up. Yes, Griffith. That's the main bad guy. Griffith. Who's left now? We have Griffith, Zhang, and Moon. It's Philip Chan, not Chang, Chan. There's Zhang. He's still alive. He's 78. He's in a zillion movies. He has a small role in Bloodsport, actually. Yeah, I knew some stuff. He's in Winners and Sinners, which is the first Lucky Stars movie. I know it's funny. It's weird. It's called the Lucky Stars trilogy, but the first movie doesn't have that in the title. It's My Lucky Stars, and it's Winners and Sinners, and it's My Lucky Stars, and it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars. Then there's other Lucky Stars movies, but they don't really count as part of the trilogy because Jackie and Samo aren't in them. That's not how I worded it, Jamie. I said there's something she likes. Are my fingers salty? Okay, I'm sorry. I can't. She's very innocent cat. She's a good girl. Say hello. Doing a bit of a wash. Washing our head. There we go. Oh, I remember this wrong. I thought it was nighttime when they got to the boat. I must have been like remembering stuff from the beginning of the movie and the nighttime scenes and transferring it to here. So they come to the boat in the daytime. So he just gives himself up. That's Colonel Guile. I mean, again, speaking of on paper, Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile from Street Fighter does not sound terrible. But then you watch the movie and fuck yes it is. It's absolutely awful. I mean, he's not the only bad thing in that movie. Pretty much everything bad. Everything in that movie is bad. Like, all the casting is complete garbage. I don't know. You think they could give it another try? Enough time has passed. Can't we try for a live-action Street Fighter again? For God's sakes, they did like a live-action Dragon Ball, and that was complete garbage. I know they did that Legend of Chun-Li, so they did do a live-action Street Fighter, I guess. But it was all about Chun-Li for some reason. Not that I dislike Chun-Li. I like her. She's one of my favorite characters. I'm just saying. You'd think they would make one that would focus on Ryu, but, you know. You're going to make it, Frank. I kept saying you were as good as dead, but look at you. There's only like 10 minutes to go, and you're still alive. I guess maybe I thought of this as a nighttime scene since most of it's just inside anyway, so you can't tell if it's day or night. It's not much to go. Obviously, we're going to have a nice fight with Moon. Ooh, the big bad reveals himself. How do you expect them to answer? We've got lots of steamy hot pipes here to burn him with. Man, supposedly there was a part where Kara, like, I don't know, does something to Danielle, but I didn't see it. I talked through that. Talk through that girl on girl.
Yeah, she like touches her ass.
Saw it. Okay, you saw it. I didn't see it. I must have been looking at something. I know it's not much. I know they weren't going to show her do anything too graphic, but I knew it was something. Oh, making them choose. It's a pretty good no. Did they shoot them? Obviously not the girl, but did they shoot Frank yet? It says one down, one to go, but we didn't see it. So maybe Frank's still kicking. No comment. Need my hand back. Yeah, they're not showing. Yeah, see, Frank's still alive. It was a fake out. This makes me think Frank is going to survive. Because, I mean, to get this far or to have him die, maybe he is going to survive. I mean, I was so confused at one point, I thought one of the twins died, which is obviously not right, because I couldn't remember exactly how the sex scene worked. But the sex scene was a dream, so that's quite the curveball they're throwing at us. At least that does somewhat explain why the sex scene was so cheesy. Even for 91, it was cheesy, but it's like, I kind of get it now, because it's like, it's his drunken hallucination, so. Okay, finally we're getting to the good stuff. This is why I thought it was night. Like, how is it so dark here? Did it become night? You let this mullet motherfucker beat you up? Oh, yeah, that's Mr. Spurs. He'll slash your throat open with a spin kick. Oh, there's light now. I'm sure it's not a callback to Game of Death, but that is kind of like in Game of Death when Bruce Lee can't beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he's too big, but then he finds out the light hurts his eyes, and that's how he beats him. It's really something to see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like throw really super awkward kicks with his legs that are as long as most people are tall.
Huh.
There we go. Chinese Hercules.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna Donkey Kong ya. Yeah, you don't have a gun. Chad. It's Chad, isn't it? It was really good. Got to give it to him for his crazy expressions. Got that down. Yeah, that's Chad again. Because, yeah, Chad needs to have the rematch because Moon beat him up before.
Bloodsport Part 2.
And now that is very, it's like, I see your shirt and raise you mine. Look at these pecs. You stand no chance. Oh yeah, I'm also insane. So I got that going for me. But it's hard to sort out the stories about like Bruce Lee and stuff behind the scenes on his movies to separate like myth from fact. There's at least a story that like way back when, because I'm thinking, how old is Bolo Young? That Bolo Young was part of the stunt team on his first movie, The Big Boss. And that Bolo Young was super unimpressed by Bruce Lee being kind of a scrawny guy. And then he challenged him to a fight. And Bruce Lee didn't beat him up, but they fought well, and he like respected him. I can't tell you if that story is true. Some people say, yeah, that happened. Some people say, no, that's just made up. So I don't know. But Bolo Young was there.
I wonder if it is.
And that's 1971, for God's sake. So he must have been really young. It is true that there was somebody that he like sidekicked across a room during production of that movie because they made fun of him. Because you have to remember, even among Chinese people, and we think, you know, Chinese people are usually smaller, more slight, people thought of Bruce Lee as like unimpressive physically. They thought he was kind of skinny and scrawny. So that he really surprised people when he showed how powerful he was. And that's what it was like on the set of The Big Boss, which was shot in Thailand and was not a fun filming experience for pretty much anybody involved. It was hot and dirty, and they didn't have much money and stuff. And at the time, again, Bruce Lee wasn't the star he'd become, so he wasn't really getting a lot of respect from a lot of the stunt guys and stuff. Okay, that was an interesting choice, but it's not even, I don't even, what do you call it? That wasn't even slow motion. It was almost like a freeze frame thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not terrible. You are ridiculous.
That was a cool fight.
You flopsy mopsy? You flopped. Well, you don't like being on camera? You don't like being caught? That was a private moment? Ah, your claws are sharp. Wednesday was for last of her generation. Wednesday didn't have front claws. But in Nova Scotia, you can't declaw cats anymore, and you can't for years. And I'm not saying that's, I don't know. That's fine. It's not like we did it because, we were worried about Wednesday hurting furniture. It was because of, at the time, Vicky, our dog. So Sasha was 14 years old. He's still alive. He just turned 14. Sasha doesn't have front claws. So he's the last. I said Wednesday was the last, but I'm wrong. Sasha's the last. So Sasha has a much younger, much bigger younger brother now in Theo, who also has front claws, but they still brawl all the time. It's pretty funny. Theo's an enormous cat. Theo's like 19 pounds. And he's not like an obese cat. He's just big. He's a really big tabby. But he has a certain amount of respect for Sasha because he won't hurt him. Oh, we're fighting the dragon lady. Man, she loves that grab and crotch thing. It's like, oh no, don't kill my muscular woman bodyguard. Those are expensive. You know how hard it is to find those? And especially one as sadistic as her? Like, I don't care. Shoot anyway. Well, she can't cry, but she can scream, so she got that going for her. It's kind of anticlimactic, really. They're kind of like locked together, and he stabs her in the stomach. I don't know. I would have preferred a more showy death for her. She deserves something better than that. That seemed kind of like a meek way to go out. But whatever.
That'll do her.
All that's left are Zhang and Griffith, and they are not fighters. So most of the rest now is just kind of a chase. And there's like a forklift or something. He looks hilarious running in his little suit. Sure. I laughed at his run. Your run's not much better, Alex. It is at least creative. I've never seen this in any other movie. This weird, big crane thing.
Fuck that.
Too many stairs. So many stairs.
Too high up.
Oh, no, that doesn't bother me. I'd do that without my life depending on it. I like heights. Ryan's afraid of heights, too. He's embarrassing. Seems to me you don't have to keep running. You have the gun. There's not really anywhere for them to go. It's really narrow. He should turn and go at them, but he's stupid. Yeah, what is this huge thing? This says what it is. I guess it is just a really large kind of crane. I guess that's all it really is. For, I guess, especially heavy stuff. Fuck, there must be one down that way. I've probably seen it in real life a bunch of times and not even given it a thought. Because we've got all this just down on the water. We're a very busy port with thousands and thousands of shipping containers. So there's some really huge cranes. Probably one just like this. At least one. Halifax is very season 2 of The Wire. He's gonna flatten you. Oh, Chad's dead. Not really. Oh, I guess he ran out of bullets. So that explains my earlier question. Try to climb up it or something. Or just jump into the water. Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. It's not ideal, but it is only water. Ah, the bad guy Kane with the blade. Such a cliche, but if you're going to be a bad guy with a cane, you got to have a hidden blade. Well, that would hurt. But you know exactly. It never goes well for people in scenes with like gears where they're trying to stab somebody. They always get their sword or their arm caught in it. It took you way too long to get down there, you idiot. You think he's still there? You definitely just stayed in the water that whole time and waited for me to climb down and shoot at you. This is all about the tunnel. Yeah, it's all about the tunnel, that thing that opened when I was an infant. I really care. Bargaining. Another villain cliche, but... Oh, your father. Oh, right. I was hoping that you would have forgotten that little detail about me having your parents killed. Darn. He remembered. And he's still pissed about it. Griffith, you are just really dumb. You had the high ground. You had everything. You had to go down and shoot into the water like a dumbass.
Good game.
Oh, your father. Well, you know, it was a while ago. I thought you'd get over it by now. I mean, you didn't even know him, did you? You didn't get to know him. Oh. None of this is working. That's a little weird because, like, he doesn't really kill him. That thing just sort of turns on and he goes splat. That's a good landing. Nice. So this is a nice, satisfying villain deaths. As soon as I try to go to bed, she's going to wake up. Because right now, she's, like, comatose. I'll be like, come on, let's go to bed. And then she'll be like, no. And she'll come out here and just fly around and knock everything over. So you lost your shirt. I should have thought to do that. We get along now. Yes, we can share her. She's like, what? I thought it over. You can have her too. Look at that. Frank is still alive. Man, I thought for sure Frank would have died like halfway through this movie. But he made it to the fucking end. Frank lives to blow things up another day. What a terrible ending shot. And it's not even both of them. Shouldn't it freeze on both of them instead of just one of them? Oh man, rap? Holy shit, I forgot about this. Yeah. $1991 rap coming at you. Between like 89 and 94, like 1 in 3 movies ended with a song like this. I wish there was an actual Double Impact song, but oh well. This is still pretty good. There you go. It's Double Impact, and as cheesy and stupid as it is, I still think it is a good movie, actually. And when you think that it was directed by the same guy who had done Lionheart, like I said, Lionheart's fine, but I just think this movie is leaps and bounds better than Lionheart. So it shows some maturation by the director. Or then, again, maybe it was just they had a bigger budget. He was a bigger star at this point. I don't know, but it's a really good movie from that perspective.
I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 orcs.
There you go. That's solid. Look, the makeup was by Zoltan. Isn't that the guy that Adam Sandler played? No, that was Zohan. Oh,
Zohan. Don't mess with the Zohan.
Well, that guy's name was Zoltan, and instead of a hairdresser, he was the makeup guy. So I wonder if he was the real-life inspiration. Hooah! There's a lot of that in rap back then. Hooah! Hooah! So I do whole credits. I don't finish live commentaries until the credits are over. I can't wait till we do a live commentary of like a Lord of the Rings movie that's like 3.5 hours long and then has credits that are like 25 minutes long. Be awesome. So yeah, pretty good. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme's had a long career. It's easy to see where the good movies are, and of course he had a long decline like a lot of those action guys. But I mean, Jesus. This is better than anything that fucking dumbass did. Seagal. I mean, Seagal's got like one like legit good movie, and that's
Under Siege.
Under Siege. And Under Siege would be a lot better if it wasn't him. Like, imagine it was like Jean-Claude Van Damme or I don't know, Arnold or somebody in that role. It would have been way better. But I can at least sort of stand him in that movie. That had some brief but good nudity in it too.
Mm-hmm.
The Playboy centerfold coming out of the cake. Shut the music off. But actually, I really Jay and I did one of the Seagals. I already forget which one it was. It was from he did 2 movies in 1990. We did one of them. One was Marked for Death. We did the one that wasn't Marked for Death. Whatever. Oh, I think it was Hard to Kill. We did Hard to Kill. But I actually really want to do Under Siege 2, the one on the train. It's crappy as hell, but I think it would be a fun commentary. So if I ever find that, maybe we can do that with Jay or something. Did you see Under Siege 2?
Oh, a long time ago.
It's so 90s. It's like, I got to get the computer disk from the bad guy, or he'll have a satellite that blows things up, you know. It's also so not Van Damme, it's so Seagal too, because like not only does he have to like beat everybody up, but like it just has a total curb stomp battle in it. Because throughout that movie, it's like the main bad guy has like this badass mercenary guy that works for him, and the whole thing he's like, I want to kill that guy. And then when they finally fight, like it's nothing. Like Seagal just blasts through him like he's nothing. Like it's so anticlimactic. So this song was called "Feel the Impact," I think. Or maybe it was Get Some of That. Anyway, they're both by Gen, or possibly Jen. So good job. Cool. Because Seagal always seemed to have that rule. It's like nobody can even like put up a decent fight. Special thank to Frank Dukes' Samurai Connection. Oh, fuck Frank Dukes. Frank Dukes is a big-time liar and fraud. I mean, I'm glad we got Bloodsport out of it, but that whole thing is bullshit. That's the real-life guy that Bloodsport was about. That whole story is a goddamn lie. I know that Frank Dukes, in his day, was a pretty good martial artist, but I don't believe for a second that there was actually like a real Kumite, and he won it, and he holds all these world records. It's all garbage that nobody can actually prove. But anyway, leave that. So thank you very much, Orc, for joining me for a semi-classic. I mean, I don't know. It's a pretty good movie. This is a cool release. I mean, if you're into like that era and retro stuff, like I looked up other stuff from this Rewind collection. I think they're mostly crappy movies, but this is a pretty good movie to have for that. There is some good extras on this too. Like I said, that's how I saw the stuff about Tia Carrere. It was really interesting. So So I'm pretty glad to have it. It's the best Van Damme release I own because the Universal Soldier Blu-ray I own it's not like a special edition or anything, and that's really all I have on Blu-ray. I've got Maximum Risk as like some part of like some 2-pack with some other shitty movie that's not even Van Damme, and I own the Immortal Time Cop on VHS. So I mean, I'd like to get some more of his movies. Sudden Death. That's the commentary by him I most want to do because obviously I can blab about hockey in that one too because there's a lot of good hockey stuff in that. Because there's real life NHLers in that movie. It's pretty awesome. The best of the Die Hard clones. I mean, Under Siege is usually brought up as a Die Hard clone. It's like Die Hard on a boat, and it's pretty good. And I really like the Die Hard on a plane, not the one you're thinking of, but the Harrison Ford one, Air Force One. But yeah, I think my favorite Die Hard clone by far is Sudden Death. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it's the Stanley Cup final. And the bad guy's Powers Booth, and he's a pretty good bad guy. He always brings it, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, thanks to those that came around. Ben was here for most of the time, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to Jamie and anybody else we missed. And as I always say, I don't know why I'm cognizant of this, but I always think, this is live and this is now, but this is for the future people that might be watching this not live. So thank you, future people, for watching this not live, especially if you're really cool and you're like, I'm going to watch Double Impact, but the way to do it is to sync it up and watch this live commentary with Cole and Art. Of course, that's the way to do it, and that's how you should.
The only way.
So thanks very much. So anyway, pretty late here, so I will get going. Oh, I want to see that last thing Ben said a couple years ago. I picked up pretty much every movie I could find, big ones, but not many of the small ones. Yeah, I mean, when you think about like his decline or whatever, or when things stop, like he does have a handful of pretty good like straight to video movies in like the mid 2000s. I think Wake of Death is very good. There's another one that might have death in the title that I think is pretty good. It's around 2004, 2005, 6, 7. There's some decent stuff in there, although by then, he's not a star really anymore. He's not a box office draw. He's not movies. The last movie I saw by him in theater was the Universal Soldier sequel in 99. And I don't even know what his last theatrical release was. It was pretty close to that. I wonder if The Order got a theatrical release. Probably not. But yeah. And I mean, he'd done some like terrible movies. Like Legionnaire is so bad, like I turned it off. Like that's how bad Legionnaire is. That's about 99 too. That's also late 90s. I think that the clone one that I mentioned, Replicant, that might be 2001. I want to like that movie, but I can't. I can't like it. But I mean, he had that great run, late 80s into the early 90s, mostly good stuff. Not a lot of people who I've talked to who are Jean-Claude Van Damme fans really like his movie Nowhere to Run, which is around that era. It's like 93. I find that movie boring as fuck. Like, I can't believe anybody likes it. Like, yeah, he does. There's a few fight scenes, but they're very low key. And yes, that's true. But yes, he is the bad guy in Expendables 2, which is the main reason I watched it. I mean, it's nice to see him just for that, but the Expendables movies just aren't what you want them to be. I mean, on paper, they sound great with all these legends, but they're not very good. But I was excited to see him as the bad guy in that. So I guess that counts as him being in theaters again, but he's not the lead or anything. But that is seeing Jean-Claude Van Damme in theaters again. I did see that movie in the theater. I think it's the only one I saw in the theater. I didn't see 1 or 3 in the theater. But I saw 2 in the theater, probably for him, because I was a big fan of him. But anyway, yeah, so it's just like, I mean, I really like Bloodsport and Kickboxer. They're very similar movies. I take Bloodsport over Kickboxer because it's a little actually sillier and cheesier. And I also like the lineup of fighters a little more in Bloodsport. There's a really good variety of the kind of fighters in Bloodsport. Like, there's a lot of the different styles. There's some of that in Kickboxer, but I think Bloodsport does it a little better. Also, it's got Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's pretty funny in that movie, beating guys up with his head and smashing bricks on his head and stuff.
Which one's that?
That's Bloodsport. Yeah, in Bloodsport, he makes friends with Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to watch that again then. Because, yeah, they're both in the tournament together. And actually, that Hacksaw Jim Duggan does really well until he goes up against John Lee or whatever his name is. Then he gets, like, beaten really badly. You always have to have that to have your extra motivation for the hero. But, yeah. So that's why I like Bloodsport a little more than Kickboxer. But they're very close. And then it's just like, I don't know, Universal Soldier is my favorite, which I know is a little unconventional for fans of him, but I just really like it. And probably my second favorite after that is Sudden Death. This movie's kind of in the middle for me from the ones I've seen, but it holds up pretty well. I mean, for the action anyway. I mean, obviously the story's not great and the acting is no good. And it has some cheesy elements, but again, you can kind of enjoy that too. I mean, that's what you enjoy about a lot of those things. Anyway, we'll talk more about him in future commentaries, but we'll shut this one down now. It's gone on long enough. We're past 2 hours, which is about where I wanted it to be. So thanks a lot for everybody tuned in, especially Ben and everybody that gave us comments. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time with something cool. Hopefully maybe Jay will be around. Of course, watch his channel too, because I don't usually like hosting these because I feel like my connection is always kind of iffy and I worry about the quality. But anyway, thanks. Peace out. Say bye-bye.